right, guys, this is episode 11. No, it's not episode 11. That was last week. Oh
What are we
my
like 12 or
God.
13
This is
now?
episode 12. Okay. So bear with us. We are on Dose, as they say in Espanol.
Preteens.
Yeah, we're not teens yet. We're
Mm-hmm.
preteens. We're in the last episode before we're teenagers and we could get all hormonal, angsty, and bitchy.
Basically, all of the TV shows on Nickelodeon and Disney are aimed at us right now.
I am Disney. All right. That's enough cockiness.
Same. Same.
Okay, wait. I got a question that's unrelated to anything.
Sure.
If you were going to change your gender and become a Disney princess, which Disney princess would you be?
Fudge. Okay. Clarifying question for that.
Yeah, that's fine. Go for
Does
it.
it have to be a classic princess?
No,
Modern, or can it be
it doesn't matter. As
any
long as it's
princess in general?
Disney princess, I'm open. I'm keeping it open.
You know what? I'll probably go with either Elsa from Frozen,
Okay.
or I'll go with Moana.
All right. I like the Moana one better. But you know what?
Really?
Well, Elsa's
but
got,
Elsa-
like, from a character standpoint, I get it. I just didn't like the Frozen movies. But
No, and
she's
I
got
mean,
powers and shit.
yes, that's
Yeah.
the main thing I
Yeah,
want. I
I'm
want
with you
fucking
on that.
powers. Yeah.
I mean, she probably is one of the most strong. Actually, when you think about it, she probably is. And then basically, it's her and Moana are the only two that have kind of. Well, Moana doesn't really have abilities, but she has like a guardian that looks
The
after
ocean
her.
chose her.
The ocean.
I guess she's chosen by
So
the ocean.
she's kind of enchanted and protected in that way. But
yeah.
Elsa could straight up use shit on you like a mutant, like an
Yeah.
X-Men style.
She's fucking
That's a good
Sub-Zero
point.
up in here.
I don't think any other princess could really compete with that. Now that I think about it.
Like the only princess, quote unquote, I can kind of think like that will be maybe Princess Leia.
Oh, you know what? That counts now too.
Yeah, it does
You're
count.
right.
So Princess Leia, or like
Yeah, but
those,
did we ever find out that she had the Force though?
that.
I don't think
Yes,
she did.
no, but it was very cheesy the way they used it.
Oh no, see, I didn't finish the new trilogy, and my buddy told me the second one was just completely shitty.
Yeah,
and then
it was.
And then they tried to reconnect it with the last one, and it just was. I heard it was unsalvageable.
Yeah, I mean, part one was amazing. Well,
Right.
I shouldn't say part one, but
Well, no,
the
yeah,
new
yeah.
Disney series, the first one was
it
amazing.
4? No, it's
7. The Force
yes, 7, 8,
Awakening.
and 9. And so 7 was Abrams, and then they didn't renew it with him.
Yeah,
And then I
which
think
was
they
a
brought him
shame.
back for the third one.
Trying to save it, and I mean,
But
the
it's
third
like,
one
why
is a
get-
little bit better than the second one.
Yeah. But I heard, that was it. The Rise of Skywalker was the second one, I think.
Yeah, it's the Force Awakening, the Rise of Skywalker,
So that's the
Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker.
So Last Jedi is the crappy one.
Yes.
Yeah. See, and that was disappointing because the trailers and all the hype behind it was like super
Yeah.
cool because Luke was old and training her,
Yeah.
and then I didn't finish it though, so I'll give it a shot
Okay.
one day and watch it for continuity reasons since I've seen all the other ones. But it had such promise with the way it started in that trilogy, because even episode 1 you couldn't even really say that. So it's like,
Yeah, the Force Awakening was amazing.
yeah, dude, I was excited. I saw it in the theater.
Same.
I was stoked. I thought, damn, you got ourselves a rebuilt franchise with action, good actors.
No CG, way better CGI.
Limited CGI usage, not overused like they did in the early
than
2000s.
the first 3, yeah.
Yeah, dude,
The-
and then they just fuck it up because money's involved. I hate that.
You know which one was really, really good though?
Uh,
Rogue One.
yeah, you know what? I heard all the side ones were really good, but I heard
Oh.
Rogue One was the best one. Yeah.
Hands down, Rogue One was my favorite. I still watch that every now and then, and I'm like, fuck, this is just an amazing movie. Like,
Yeah.
Very well written and everything with characters. And then like even the solo one wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. Like I heard
It,
Rogue One was like hands down the best, but I heard
yeah.
even the other ones they weren't compared
Yes.
to excuse me, compared
Yeah.
to the
Well,
Last Jedi or whatever.
yeah. Look at you. You're all joked up on it now. Pisses you off.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when you don't take care of your throat, ladies and gentlemen. I should have used my salve and my honey and my lemon,
Oh,
but I didn't
dude.
do it.
So it's funny to bring this back to like the topic of our podcast, if you will.
Yeah.
So when I was like, so when I went to see a doctor and psychologist, the first thing they were like, okay, no more coffee for you.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, how many cups do you drink? And I'm like, 4 or 5 a day. And they're like, yeah, you need to quit that shit.
Is that a lot?
But apparently it is.
But see,
Apparently it is.
but yeah, whatever. Keep going. I keep interrupting.
No, it's cool. It was probably higher, but I think it was at that point I was probably drinking like 6 to 8 cups a day. But I'm like, oh, 4 or 5, thinking it was like conservative. And the doctor's like, nah, dude, that's too much. And it's like, and then you drink Coke also. I'm like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, that's too much caffeine, which will just add up to your like stress and your anxiety and stuff. So he's like, ideally, I would love for you to stop drinking coffee and soda. So, but just keep it 1 or 2 cups a day, at the most. So at night when I wanted, because it wasn't even about like fiending caffeine or fiending coffee. It's just like the social thing where you kind of like,
Yeah.
it's cold. You kind of want something warm. So I started drinking tea, and a lot of tea like I was messing around because I wasn't really a tea fan. Was like lavender with like,
like chamomile.
yeah, chamomile and with lime and green tea with lime and a little lemon and stuff.
Dude,
and honey.
You know what's good? If you're
What's
gonna make a
that?
sweet tea, use a black tea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tastes
Well,
the best with sweet stuff. Like green tea's kind of bitter,
Yeah.
but black tea's more sweet.
I can see that because when I go to Starbucks and I want a coffee, I get myself like an iced black tea.
Mm-hmm. If you
and
put milk in it, it's pretty good too. Yeah.
Really, I haven't tried
Like
it
a
with
milk tea.
but I definitely have tried it with like instead of putting like water sweetener, it's just with lemonade. So it kind of like
yeah.
that's
No,
really, it's
100.
really
Yeah,
refreshing.
that would be a good Arnold Palmer one too.
Oh,
Yeah.
basically that's what I'm getting when I go Starbucks, and I realize that.
Dude, yeah. I
You're
mean,
absolutely right.
Arnold Palmer's a great go-to.
Yeah. So yeah, I do that. And now I'm picking up the coffee habit again. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm right now messing with like 3 cups a day.
Honestly, dude, I don't think
I'm
there's
being
anything
naughty.
wrong with it from a health aspect. I think Homeboy was just telling you that because he was doing his job as trying to eliminate the easiest factors that could be affecting your anxiety, which is true.
Yeah.
If you drink a lot of caffeine, you're gonna be like a fucking a nervous wreck or something, and have all this anxiety that's really nothing. It's just because you're all cracked out. So I get where he's coming from, but I don't know if it's like unhealthy. I think it's just. I mean,
it's
like,
all in moderation,
Yeah, exactly. Like,
drink your fucking coffee, but drink your water too.
Because I've actually heard black coffee's healthy for you, and I've heard. I've heard there's literally almost like no. Besides the caffeine, there's nothing bad nutritionally about coffee because it's just water and coffee grounds. Like, it's basically
and not even. It's like a tea. It's just like
basically.
Yeah, because it's just like the coffee grounds like infused with this water.
I'm like, because dude, here's the thing too. Like, people. I'm not saying you, but people are gonna be like, "Oh, coffee's bad," but then every week they're gonna go out and get shit faced. So I mean, I'm pretty sure even 8 cups of coffee every day is probably better than fucking your liver up once a week.
Something. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, who we're not experts.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I just read the blogs.
I just go on websites that they allow me on.
the ones that I'm not banned in yet.
Yeah, the ones that my fucking internet lets me go. So part of the reason why I'm bitching is because Danny's time is precious. We all know that. And
allegedly.
I was ready at 9:30. Well, at least I thought I was. And well, Zoom had other plans. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, you're not connected to the internet, even though I was on YouTube at the same
Yeah.
time. So it's just gotta love technology.
But you know what,
That's
dude?
why I'm Team Human, man.
No, like I was telling you, dude. Earlier today, so I'm a teacher for those who haven't figured out yet, or don't know. I was doing my digital classes where I was teaching digitally, distance learning. Um, this is like my fifth period or whatever period I'm teaching to. I don't even fucking know. It's all meshed in.
Yeah.
And I'll know where I'm talking, and then my internet just drops. And my
Jesus.
Zoom call gets destroyed. And when this happened earlier in the school year, like the call just drops, and that's it. Everybody gets kicked out. So first thing I did was like I go to my Google Classroom, I type in the message like, "Hey guys," but then my internet wasn't working on my phone
Oh.
either. So I'm like, "Oh shoot!" So I had to turn it,
And
go whatever you call it, like with the data. Went to Google Classroom. I'm like,
yeah.
"Hey, having technical issues. Be right back." And I couldn't send it for some reason. It wouldn't like it kept on giving me like an error message trying to send it. So I'm like, fuck, I'm tripping out. I'm like, oh, let me kick start my hotspot or whatever. And then out of nowhere, like maybe after 2 minutes of me panicking, like, oh shit, all the students, like, if that was me, if I saw like my professor
I
leave,
just
or
quit.
yeah, I'm done.
I'm
Like
done.
I'm
Yeah,
done
I'm
for the day.
done. He's not gonna
Uh
even get mad if I'm not there when he's back.
yeah, I'm not. I was expecting to come back to like an empty classroom or a
Yeah.
Zoom call. But yeah, it felt forever, but I was probably only gone for like 2 minutes. Zoom got me back in it,
Uh,
and apparently Zoom now saves your call also for the same reason. So the call doesn't get dropped off. So I came back and I'm like, "Oh, hey, sorry, students, do you guys hear me now? Do you see me?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Sorry, I got kicked out from my own Zoom call." And they're like, "Oh, I thought you just went to the bathroom or something because it's just like." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." But
there.
like all my
Yeah,
students were still there. Everybody was still there, and I'm
that's
like,
cool,
"Oh, cool kids." And
yeah,
then it happened again in the following period. And I'm like,
dude.
whatever. It's one of those days today.
Well, see, I don't pay for it, and with two people you don't need to. But um, I would be a lot more annoyed if I was paying for a premium account and that shit happened.
Yeah.
Because you really don't get treated any better than a free scumbag like me who doesn't pay anything, and I pretty
Yeah.
much deal with the same clunky system as you, and you pay for. I mean, I know you don't, but I'm saying people that pay. It's just kind
Yeah.
of like that rubs me the wrong way. Even though
Well,
I'm the free guy, it's just.
no. I mean, the at the end of the day, it's like you're paying for a service that you're expecting to work and be
And if it's not
reliable.
working, then you shouldn't be paying for it.
Yeah. And very first day of school, dude. First day of school, I get up, I'm like fucking half asleep. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta deal with this kids today. First day of school. Get up, log into my emails at 7:30, and I get an email. FYI, Zoom, Google, and this other program that we use called Nearpod, they're all crashed. Like they all have technical issues. And I'm
Hmm.
like, how the F am I supposed to teach them?
Yeah.
Like first day of school, how the hell am I supposed to
What they
teach?
did, what they want you to do.
Uh they were like, if you can log into Zoom, like screen share your
Oh,
computer
and do it
screen.
all solo and then just
Yeah,
post it later.
yeah, exactly. Luckily, it worked for me. The only issue I had was like maybe where my audio wasn't working, where like my microphone on my headphones weren't working. So
Hmm.
I just had to like log off and log back in. Um, but yeah, I was just like, dude, first day of school, I'll be so pissed. Like, if you're a district or something, or like a parent,
Yeah, could
and
you
you're like,
imagine? You're like, that's your tax dollars at work.
yeah, and you're like, dude, I'm trying my best to like give the best education I can to my child, and all of this is broken. And the thing is, we live here in the Silicon Valley.
Oh yeah.
Zoom is literally right there in downtown San Jose.
Oh, dude.
It's like
So's like Instagram, Facebook,
exactly,
Twitter.
exactly. I'm like, okay, so
Ugh, none of them work.
Google's down the street from San Jose. Um, Zoom is literally where you used to work. Do you know where the Zoom office is, or
No, where's Zoom at? Is it downtown or is it off First Street?
is right in downtown? So literally, like you know where Specialties was, and then like right behind
Yeah, where the
Specialties
family
was
court
like
is and all that shit.
Yeah, there was like PG&E.
Yeah.
Right across the
Oh.
street from. So one side PG&E is Adobe, and
Uh-huh.
then the other side is like there was like a bank there, or like a financial buildings or
Yeah.
something. That's where Zoom is.
Okay.
So it's literally like you throw a rock from Specialties, or where Specialties used to be, and then
That was
you're
my
assumed.
spot. That was my work spot for a
I
long
used
time.
I love Specialties forever. Because remember you used to work there. A couple of my buddies used to work there also. So I
Ryan.
used to go. Oh, Ryan, but then there was also our friend Shelly who used to work there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, she worked at the Pete's area. So I used to, and I love Pete's more than Starbucks. So I used to go there, get coffee, and then
Get your Major
maybe,
Dickinson.
huh?
Get your
Yeah, my
get
Major
your Major
Dickinson.
Dickinson.
Which you always you cannot say that name and not like smile.
Yeah, because it sounds like
It's just
Dick.
because it has dick in it.
Yep. And so does she.
Yeah, but like it was cool because then like if you were working, because I know at the time you were also like baking also in the back sometimes. You're like cooking
Yeah,
and baking.
I was doing soups.
Yeah,
Dude, the bakers show up at 3 a.m.
yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
They also got off at like fucking 11 or 10 in the morning as well.
Because they were done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't also Sergio used
Yeah,
to be one of the-
Renteria. He was
Yeah.
he was the baker for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. He was the baker, and I was like, it was weird working with him because I grew up with him, and
Yeah.
we used to mess around, and I hate his cousin. And anyway,
Who's his cousin?
I'm gonna throw him under the bus. Fuck his cousin.
Who's his cousin?
I can't. I'm not gonna use his last name, but his name's Tommy. Fuck that guy.
Oh, I
He's
don't
a
think
piece
I
of
know him.
shit.
I don't think I'm ever.
Guy's a
met.
scumbag. Anyway,
This
I love you,
gentleman.
Sergio. Your cousin's trash. I love you
I
though.
love you too, Sergio. I
But-
haven't seen him in a while.
You want to hear a funny story relating to his cousin?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it makes me
absolutely.
seem more like a douche than him.
Yeah,
so-
absolutely.
Me and his cousin went to school together in middle school, and his cousin was kind of always a cocky little shit,
Right.
skater punk. And I went to school with hella like Mexican kids, and like they weren't nice to white kids at all. Like
No.
there were like maybe 6 white kids in my middle school, and like most of them were chill, but like I got bullied so much, and I got called a poser, and it was ridiculous. But this isn't
Yeah.
a sob story. This is just a little background
Yeah.
of why I don't like the guy, because he was a dick. And
This is the setup. This is the setup.
it's a setup. And then we're at a Sharks game. This was like 2007.
Okay.
We're at a Sharks game just after graduating high school. Me, Michael, some of my friends, and Steph. So
Mhm.
I have my iPod at the time.
Mhm.
It's a random detail. It was in my pocket. I decided to give Steph a piggyback ride. So I'm running through the parking lot, and this motherfucker works security in the parking lot. So
Okay.
he spots me, and we kind of look, but we don't like each other, so we don't say nothing.
Yeah.
But this motherfucker, I thought, you think people can change. So
yeah. people
so
growing
I'm
up.
fucking, this is the funny part. I eat shit, right? I'm carrying her, I eat shit. She's fine. But I land on my knee, I land on my iPod, the iPod breaks. My knees are all cut up and bleeding.
Yeah, but you got.
And
I'm cool.
I feel so embarrassed. I'm like, man, I dropped my girlfriend. I dropped myself. I broke my
Yeah.
iPod. I'm not even at the Sharks game yet. And the same motherfucker that used to give me shit in middle school is laughing at this motherfucker. Was laughing. It made me feel like he's like, some things never change. Like he's probably thinking that in his head. Like, look at this piece of shit. And then I didn't even, because what do I say? What could I have done to him? Like, fuck you,
can't.
man. No, you don't say anything. You take your loss, take your L, you take your tail, and you keep it between your legs, and you just move on.
You go back to the drawing board. You look at the tape and see what we can do to.
I was
Do
so
something.
broken that night. My iPod was broken. My dignity was hurt. One of my old little punk bullies from middle school got his lick in again and laughed at my dumb ass again. I'm like, man, I'm just the worst. I deserve this.
In all fairness, Coop,
Yeah.
I would have laughed.
Oh, I
too,
would have
bro.
laughed too, but no,
Like,
no.
just seeing somebody fall down is just funny.
I completely am being a biased ass
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
just don't like him, and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. If it was anyone else, I would have been okay with him laughing at me.
Yeah.
But it felt so. It like. It's like I heard laughing echoing. It is, and I heard laughing like echoing, and I felt like I was in middle school. Like, you know, the intro to "We Youth of the Nation" by POD. You hear like the school children in the background.
Yeah.
I'm just like shaking, and all I hear is the playground swings, and you're a fucking loser. It's like, all right.
No, you know what's funny though?
I'm late for
I
third
can
period.
see you like in the Sharks game. I can see inside the Sharks game, like just sitting down, spacing out. And then everything turns like black and white, and then you just hear fucking "Hello, darkness, my old friend." I can't. You're
fucking
just like,
Simon and Garfunkel, dude. That's
you're
so
just kinda,
good.
like, looking down, just like
The
rethinking life.
sound of sadness.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that would have been. That's pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much the perfect song for my morale that day. Yeah, like I'm glad I shared that because it was funny, but it's just like
funny.
It's just like so unnerving when those people win again, and you're like, why do you always win?
But I mean, my question is like, what were you expecting the guy to say or do?
No.
Like, hey man, you're good.
There's no. Well, you know, you could have done something. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to laugh. No, like
you have to.
I understand that I'm not necessarily right, but I'm never going to admit that I'm wrong on this just because I hate this guy that much.
The story will make so much more. If the next time you tell the story, say that as you're falling down.
I hate you.
Make eye contact. So as you guys like were falling.
You know
down,
what would have been funnier though?
Eye contact.
But what would have made the story even better is if I saw him and I was making fun of him, being like, "Yeah, wow, look at you now, bro, your security," and then I ate shit. That would have been good.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking. That's a reason to laugh.
Yeah.
But like, I was just like, I never saw him. I didn't say what's up to him, and the guy was just laughing. Like, no, like you're right. You know, I was embarrassed. You know, my ego was hurt.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But at the same time, I was like, why is this fucking guy once again
laughing
on the good side of this? You know, like, why can't I laugh at him? You know how normally you get the karma? Dude. Yeah. And you know, they used to call him Mr. Burns. I forgot who called him that. I don't want to throw that person under the bus, but they called him Mr. Burns because that's what he looks like. But fuck that motherfucker. Anyway, excellent. If you're going to give piggyback rides to people, don't do it in front of people that used to make fun of you because there is a chance you're going to embarrass yourself and pull a Carrie and everyone's going to laugh at you. And in this case, just one guy. So I was being a little dramatic, but you know.
Pull a Carrie. I like that.
They're all going to laugh at you, Carrie.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I thought as that was happening.
I wasn't covered in pig's blood, but I may as well have been.
But John Travolta should have shown up for no reason.
He was the love interest in that, right? Well, her love interest, not the real love interest.
No, I think,
or no, he was one of the dickheads, right?
Yeah, he was one of the dickheads because I gotta rewatch that movie
because I know the premise. The guy faked it, and then they just made fun of her, and then they found out she was telekinetic. Did he really fake
it though? Did he really? I know it started out as a prank.
That's true, but I don't really believe he was into it. You know what I mean? You're right. Yeah. I don't think he was completely behind and having ill intentions, but at the same time, I don't think he had any feelings for her either.
No, because I think, because I know, like, at first he's like, they did it as a joke. He wasn't really stoked about it, but he's like, whatever, I'm gonna do it, because it was like a prank, and then like they rigged this for her to win the prom queen or whatever. Yeah. But I remember as they were dancing, like they started kissing and stuff.
But maybe he was. I mean, maybe he was just a perv fucker. You know, maybe he was just like
that's true.
You know?
Or maybe he was like, "Oh, this girl's actually not." Because if I remember, Carrie looked pretty pretty on that one.
I don't know. I was never a big Sissy Spacek, but that probably was her at her prettiest. But
yeah. But I do remember like he wasn't behind the whole thing with like the pig the
pig's blood.
Yeah, because I remember like. It fell, and then he kind of looks up, and like the can kind of like knocks him out or something.
He got lucky on that.
No, he still died in the fire.
Oh no, that's true. A lot of them did.
Yeah.
But see,
But yeah,
good for her. You know,
I mean,
because you
yeah,
know how much easier her high school reunion's gonna be now.
just one,
She could just
person.
hang out.
Yeah,
Everyone's here.
yeah, and then and then she goes what really scared me on that movie wasn't that she had this power where the mom was a freaking psycho
Yeah,
biatch.
yeah.
The Jesus, that Jesus
Oh,
that
that
the
the
mom
mom
was,
had.
yeah, that was creepy for me, dude.
Did you see the original or the remake?
I seen both of them, and
I
I
haven't
still
seen the
like the
new one.
original.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because they did a remake like
I
early
heard.
2000s or something, and it's
Oh
just,
no, that's Carrie. That's the Rage Carrie 2. I'm talking about they remade the first one.
oh yeah, I'm not gonna see
I'm
that.
not gonna watch
Oh
it.
yeah, because you're right, because there's like the Rage of Carrie or
Yeah, that
something,
was the Rage Carrie 2. I never watched that one either.
where
The chick
like
was
I
short
just
haired, I
remember,
think.
yeah, I remember like she had like a tattoo, and she got super pissed off, like the tattoo, like it like it covered, it went all over her body, and like she turned to fucking venom or something, and she was just
Yeah,
like,
that's a little
yeah,
too much. I don't
yeah,
even think
but
Stephen
I
King
haven't seen
wrote
the
that
remake.
one. Yeah, me neither. I'm done with remakes.
Yeah,
In a lot of ways because it's just uh,
I like the originals because it's like, unless the original was really really bad, but even then, like that's what holds charm to it,
yeah.
like Clash of the Titans or
Oh,
whatever.
you mean the
L-
original one?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it's super cheesy, super crappy and everything,
Yeah,
but like then I saw the remake and I'm like, yeah, it's way better, but it takes away the charm,
yeah,
takes
like
away the,
the stop action kind of stuff.
yeah. Um and then when they make like sequels to movies like 30 years later, like please, like they're gonna make Top Gun 2, and of course I'm gonna go see Top Gun 2, but I'm not really stoked about that.
I just hope it's as homoerotic as the original.
One can only hope.
That's all I
But
want. I want
do
fat,
you
bloated Val Kilmer. Wait,
with
yeah, Val
yeah,
Kilmer
yeah.
survived.
Oh yeah, he's, yeah,
It was
the
Anthony
only one who
Edwards that
died.
died, right?
Yeah, the Goose.
Yeah.
Goose is the only one who died.
I never watched it all the way through. I've only seen like most of it, but it's just like Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise are so in love with each other in that movie.
Oh yeah.
So weird. And not in like
Oh
a
yeah.
fun way. It's like awkwardly like repressed.
Yes, it's like Brokeback Mountain kind
Yeah,
of like,
exactly. It's like we shouldn't be doing this and that's why I love it so much.
yeah,
It's like,
like if
okay.
those guys were to be in the bunker for like 2 days, like peeling potatoes, some shit is gonna go down.
Yep. And it's gonna go down one of their throats.
Someone's
And
gonna get
on
their breath taken away.
and I'm gonna use that as a segue.
Woo!
Wow. Seamless.
Yeah.
So we're going from that subject to the subject today, which I posed this question to Danny earlier this week
Mm-hmm.
because I got really baked and I was just thinking to myself, and sometimes you get some cool ideas and sometimes you get the ideas that you just forget about.
Yeah.
But I was thinking to myself, every night I have an idea or some thought, right? So I
Yeah.
figured I should start jotting them down and use them.
Yeah.
So I was thinking deep about how certain instances in my life where my close family members pass and I'm not around, and I've noticed it's pretty much been the constant in my life of me not being there, and one, not necessarily getting closure, and two, not feeling like I'm helping, So
Mhm.
my question to Danny was, do you ever feel guilty for not being able to comfort and say goodbye to the loved ones when and before they pass? And
Yeah.
I think it's pretty straightforward, but I can't elaborate on it. But I feel like my
Yeah.
elaboration could just be my example. So,
Yeah.
did you want to take a swing at it, or did
Yeah.
you?
Let me take a
Yeah,
swing on that one first, but um I'm always there, like, of course I always think like, oh man, I wish I would have like savored that moment a little bit more, or like, of course I always feel like that regret, like, oh, I could have spent more time, or I could have done this or that. But at the same time, I always try to give like the best version of myself to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just as simple as saying hi and goodbye. Like the two examples that come to my mind right away is one when my grandma passed away about 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. We knew she was dying. She had leukemia, and we knew it was kind of like, all right, it was only a certain matter of time. And she was supposed to come and visit us in San Jose. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, cool. And like, I get to see my grandma, whatever. But for some reason, she has stayed back in LA, and um, she passed away 2 days before she was supposed to come in San Jose to visit us.
Jeez. Yeah.
Um, and like I felt bad because I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have like said good, like really appreciate the last goodbye and like have like one more cup of coffee with her or something like that. But then I started thinking like, well, the last time I saw her was, maybe a couple months before that, like less than a year before that. And I'm like, okay, we hang out, we talk, and then I started thinking like all the things that when I used to go and visit her in Mexico, like she used to love it when I used to like massage like her neck or her back or something. That was her
Mm-hmm.
was her thing. So she always loved doing that and taking like the afternoon naps and shit. So I didn't feel so bad
Right.
because I always remember the good parts of it. So I'm like,
Right.
all right, I took it like if it was like like any goodbye. Just sucks that I couldn't say to her goodbye once again. But I went
Mm-hmm.
to a funeral and I remember kissing her forehead um in her funeral, but it wasn't the same. Like I just
No.
remember it wasn't the same. Like she was just cold and there was
Yeah.
like no it it felt fake and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I still think,
But
it
it
is
was
what it is.
better, and I know you feel this way for sure. It was better doing that than not doing that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other one was when my uncle passed away maybe 4 years ago. February 2016. I remember last time I saw him was 2 weeks prior before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
We were over here. We had a little get together at my house where we revealed Juan's baby at the time gender.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he was there, and he's like, "Oh, cool, another girl to the family, whatever."
Yeah.
So he was there, and then I remember the following weekend on the 14th of February, we were in Disneyland, but he was over here and he came to my house. My parents had like a little barbecue or whatever, and he was here. And then 7 days later, on the 21st, he passed away. And I still remember that day very vividly, like is because it was so unexpected. I remember getting a telephone call, driving over there, because my they lived pretty close to my house, and just driving over there and just um by that time it was already like too late. Like we got there right when the ambulance was getting there. And then yeah, it's just like seeing like the last image I might have of him is him being like taken out from his house into the ambulance. But like yeah, that's just if I want to get really sad, but I still don't have no regrets because like I remember that 14th. I remember that day he was here. We had a good time. And then I remember during that week or a couple months prior, I remember he was a huge Dodger fan also.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, man, how can I watch these Dodger games at my house? So I don't have to come over to your house every day to watch the games. So I remember my dad bought him a Roku,
Okay.
a Roku,
Yeah.
yeah, bought him a little Roku. I went over to his house. I set it up. I showed him how to play it, and everything. I set it up. So and I remember he told me something like, "It's like, hey man, thanks Danny for coming over and taking your time. I know if I would have asked one of my kids, they will never do it. So thanks. I'm glad I can always count on you." And that was
Yeah.
always like, oh shit, you never told me that before. So
You're like,
that
thanks, but that's kind of sad. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, your kids are no, their kids are good, but I just remember that, and then yeah, it sucked, but at the same time, I think about like instead of like, man, I wish I would have done something. I wish I would have done more. Um, like I still, I remember the good times, and kind of like what the follow up question we were asking, like it still brought me comfort or closer knowing that I was there to help my cousins, like plan his funeral. I was there. when I was there for his funeral. So we had a funeral here in the United States. The very next day we flew out to Mexico. And I was there to prep also for his funeral service in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, because in my small town, it's not like we just put a body in the herd and then they kind of drive him away. We
Right.
carry the body, like literally, it's like
Yeah.
in the coffin. We carry the body. So I remember doing that from his house that he lived like fucking butt fuck outside of the ranch. So we took him all the way to church. We walked him to church, and then during like the service at church, I remember I was standing up next to his body or next to his coffin. It was myself, my brother Juan, my cousin Ramon, who's his son,
Mm-hmm.
other cousin, and two other cousins. So it was six of us standing next to the body the whole time. And I remember like that was a very sad moment again. And then like of course carrying the body to the cemetery. And I still remember like how much it weighed. I still remember like the sound. It's just,
Yeah.
but even though it's a very sad memory, it's like it's the last thing I can do to show respect to like my aunt,
Right.
to show respect for my cousins, and of course to show respect for my dad, because this person was like my dad's like brother. Like they were cousins, this person
Mm-hmm.
was like my dad's brother also. So it
Yeah.
was a good way to show respect and stuff. So in that sense, I do not like have any regrets. Like I'm glad. Like unfortunately, yeah, it sucks that that person's not here, but I'm grateful that I was able to do something for that person one last time. Kind of like what you're talking about with your mom,
Yeah.
a couple weeks back.
Yeah. No, I agree with what you're saying. I just feel like even though I agree with it, that's not always how I feel. And
Absolutely.
you know how the whole saying kind of goes is like, you know how you should feel, you know how you want to feel, but is that how you feel? You know?
Yeah.
And how do you get to that point? So I think part of it is doing what we're doing now, which is reminding yourself of these things that bother you, talking through them, and trying to figure out ways to, live with them. And
Hmm.
I guess to not necessarily answer it, because obviously the answer to my question, so is feeling guilty for not being able to comfort and say goodbye to loved ones, or do you feel guilty? As is a better way of wording it. For
Hmm.
me, yes. Should I feel guilty? I don't know. Probably not, but I do. And I don't think there's anything I can ever do that's going to make me not feel like I shouldn't feel that way. But
Yeah.
I understand that it's a glitch in my head. Um, but part of me just doesn't want to, the stubborn part of me wants to just take it. Because sometimes I really do feel like there's things in life that are just meant to hurt and meant
Yeah.
to be there. And it's not necessarily a positive, but it's something you need in your life, And I just wish I was more like you in the sense of being like, yeah, well, that's not how I need to do it. And like, I want to be more like that. I guess that's my goal, because my perspective is, I feel guilty because I think that, and this is my follow-up question is, it says, do you feel guilty for not being able to comfort? And then the follow-up question is it selfish? And that's why I want to get into is, I do feel guilty for not being able to say goodbye or just hold my grandma's hand when she passed,
Hmm.
or do the same for my mom. My grandma was kind of a different situation because she did have a good amount of family around her. My mom, I still don't even know technically who was in the room when she passed. I think it was her boyfriend, my sister, and my grandfather.
Hmm.
Um, Possibly my brother-in-law. But that's pretty much it. And I don't even know if they were all in the room together. So I'm pretty sure from what my grandpa told me, my sister was in the room when it happened. I I can't imagine that's easy.
No.
But in some ways, maybe it's harder than even what I went through. But I just feel, and maybe it's torturing myself, literally just making myself feel shitty because I wasn't there, because I feel like I should have been, which I feel like everyone feels that way. Everyone wants to be there when they're needed or to help, or selfishly to not, or selfishly to, for your own, your own reasons. And some of it was for my own reason. Like, I wanted selfishly to be around for my mom. I wanted to be near my mom. And, was that more for her or was that more for me? I think it was more for her. And I think that's why I feel guilty, because I know she would have been happy to see me. And I know she wasn't mad I wasn't there, but I put myself in her shoes, and that also made me feel guilty, because I just thought, even though I know I wouldn't be mad if one of my boys didn't make it, I would be sad that I couldn't say goodbye to them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way I'd feel in the moment, because I'm sure when you're going through all these things, it's big picture time, and all those thoughts, even though these people mean a lot to you, they're staying here and you're moving on. So
I think at that point you just become selfish also. You start thinking more about me, like, oh shit, this is it. Like, you're not like thinking like, oh,
well,
did I
and I
say
don't
goodbye to
even
this
know.
person?
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if it's selfish, but I mean, textbook wise, yeah, I think it is basically. But I don't think it's like. I mean, yeah, I guess textbook it is, but I just, to me, I feel like it's not so much that they're like, I don't care about what everything else is going on. I think it's literally like your body's dying, your brain's slowly going to die after, so it's pretty much not functioning correctly. So I just feel like once you get to the point of that, I don't know whether you see your life flash before your eyes and all that stuff, like people say that happens, but I do think what happens is you probably get an extreme version of tunnel vision, and you probably can only focus on what's directly in front of you, if you can even focus on that while you're passing on. And, so that, I don't think, sometimes I got to remind myself my own insecurities and my own voices that tell me this is how she felt. I could be completely false. So, a lot of what we create in our head and what we feel like we miss and stuff, it really is our own voice, and it is our own ego in our head that creates these scenarios, these insecurities, and all these, could be fantastic memories or it could be miserable ones. And it's just how unique and powerful our brains are when they, when they want to be, or when we understand how to interpret them. Because it's just like, we joke about all these silly things, and, we talk about all this stuff even in the beginning of the pod, I crack a joke here, crack a joke there. We're talking shit about Star Wars not being cool.
Yeah.
That's like, I think it's like sometimes death helps us understand what we take for granted. And this isn't me on a soapbox trying to get people to convert to a religion, but this is me saying, like, death helps you value life, and death also helps you value and manage your time better. I feel like if you're proactively dealing with death, because you're understanding that we're all on borrowed time, and not to be grim, but who knows when our time of reckoning is, and no one does, and I don't think we would want to, but it definitely makes you value things. It makes you feel like it's kind of annoying, because you want to keep it up and you don't want it to be like that person that goes to the gym on the 1st of January.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't you just go in November or October when you felt fat?
Yeah.
So it's
Or in
like
December.
right. or just right away. Like if you want to make a change in your life, you shouldn't wait. You should just start. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like once we get to the point where we're dealing with this stuff, I think it kind of matures our minds a little bit and we just kind of think differently, a little bit differently. And then sometimes it could just be that it's a fresh reminder and we'll revert back to our old ways and something eventually down the line will pull us back in again. But I'm trying to learn from these things and not just feel like I have to Groundhog Day every time someone else passes. But I feel like because of how unique people are as individuals, nothing can really ever soften the blow of a loss. So, that's just something that we all gotta like figure out a way to work through. And like you said, okay, so like you brought up a very like good view, and it's kind of more glass half full. And you were like, I'm just more happy that I was able to say goodbye and follow through with saying goodbye on your end. And then I do think that the positive was that me and my mom, we already had a heart to heart, a month before or 6 months before, and she kind of already told me and discussed, what she wanted and how she felt and all this stuff. And yeah, I think I think I wish I always like to help, like when Tom's dad passed.
Right.
I definitely did more. He was already gone, but I left work. I helped him, helped them lift him into the, into the thing and the bed and all that. And like, it felt good because that was like my last good deed and favor I did for Big Tom, because he was my friend too. So the way I looked at it was, and I guess my closure with my mom was, that I helped, I helped her at the end. But the thing is I just wanted to comfort her in her time of need, because I know how much she struggled with her health and being comfortable and not being in pain. So I wanted to try and help with that as much as I could. And I'm sure my family did a spectacular job of making her feel good and all that. But when you're just not there, it's always going to be looming over you like, what if you were, and how would things be? And realistically, I understand my mom would still be gone, and probably I would still feel this way. I would probably just feel like I helped, but I could have done way more. So I kind of do feel like I'm just in quicksand in this situation where I'm my own worst enemy more than the reality of it, which is, I just need to learn to acknowledge these things, but not to amplify and just dwell on them. So that's one of my key things, and that's why I'm bringing it up. Is that's one of my main things I'm working on, is not dwelling on stuff so much, no matter how intense it is. There's grieving periods.
Yeah.
I think I'm past the grieving period, but I'm just not fully healed from it. So, but yeah, I don't think anyone really ever truly is.
Yeah, I don't think no one ever really heals from that experience or anything. But like, as you're explaining how you feel and like saying you wish you would have been there like in a time of need, like what more could he have asked or done? Except for being there as her passing.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be that face that kind of comforted her as much as I possibly could.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, from like an outsider looking in, I'm like, I feel like you were there to comfort her in her last days, anyways, knowing that you were there, knowing that you took your time from being flying out there,
Yeah.
and being there every day, all day. I feel like this. You weren't there for the moment, quote unquote, but you were there for the whole. 99% of the time, and even after.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what leads up to next questions. Like, if you're a spiritual person, and I think like if in a case like if the soul or the spirit wasn't there anymore with your mom, I'm sure she felt the energy that you're still there after,
Yeah.
and that you still carry on and you still think about her. And I mean, of course, we are our own worst enemies, and we will always carry that guilt and that what if kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But like, then it is like, what would it take you to realize like, no, my I'm comfortable knowing that I comfort my mom in her time of need. Like, what else would you need in order to like confirm that?
Probably just time. I probably just need to get older and realize that I'm wrong. And even though I know I'm wrong, I just need to.
Yeah,
You know how it is like 10 years ago, right? Even is a good example. It's like you didn't feel the same way intellectually or just mature wise as you feel now. And it's definitely probably changed your views on certain things for sure.
absolutely. Yeah,
But I can honestly admit that. Yeah, I'm sure, there's going to come a day where it makes more sense, you know? I just, I'm not there yet.
yeah.
And
No, and
and I don't know if it's because I don't want to be. I think that might be part of it. Maybe I'm I'm just like I
no,
don't know if I have
and
the mental capacity to understand it all so right now, but yeah. I don't know.
and like you said, it is, time is, I didn't believe this a long time ago when they say time is the ultimate healer.
Mhm.
Um, but it really is, over time. And I remember like right before going to sleep, I was like meditating or whatever, to kind of de-stress and, try to go to sleep. And I remember like while I was sleeping, I was telling myself like, all right, I need an answer, like if it's time for me to do something else or do this or that, I need an answer.
Yeah.
And I remember like at night, like I got that answer, like in the form of dream. I got the answer, I got a dream. And then after that, I remember waking up and I remember thinking, okay, it's time. And that's when I was started like, doing really head in into like the whole moving on process and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think if you always like, try this for the next couple of times, I'm not saying it's gonna work or anything. I'm not saying it's like the one fit all, but before you go sleep or something, when you're getting ready for bed or something, just ask the question, blah blah blah, and you'll be surprised what your dreams might say or may not say.
Yeah. No, I should try that tonight cuz I always kind of want to always would love to have like a spiritual. Okay, so that's the other reason why I want to do shrooms again
Uh huh.
was the first time I did shrooms. I don't know if you've ever done shrooms, but the first time I did shrooms was like 2010.
Uh huh.
And Steph was on a business trip, and me and my cousin did them, and like we went on this hike for like 8 hours by my house in Union City at this place called Coyote Hills, and it was really nice. But long story short, the main thing I took from it was there was a point in the trip where, for the most of it, it was very humbling. Like you had no drive to use technology, you had no drive to use your phone, you had no drive to check in on any of this. You just were very much in the moment of life, and like it sounds super hippie, but like there was a point where me and my cousin were hanging out laughing. Oh, we were just peaking and just fucking
Yeah.
flying on this shit, right? And then there was a point where I kind of felt like I never blacked out, but I like kind of came back a little bit and was like, oh, okay, I'm now sitting on a hill playing with
Mm-hmm.
dirt. Okay, now I'm here. And then I look and I'm like, where the fuck is my cousin? And I look and he's like 20 yards down playing with dirt and doing the same shit. And it's just like, how funny is that? But the main thing I took from it was me and my cousin were both like very much more affectionate and loving towards life and our view on it. And then we were very much like, man, appreciative of what we had. Like, he wanted to get home to his dog. He wanted to get home. Mm-hmm. You know, that was his thing at the time. He had his dog, and he's like, man, I miss my dog. I want to go home, you know? And then I kept thinking, man, you know, I didn't have kids at the time, and we weren't married yet, but I was thinking in my life, I was like, man, I really miss Steph, and I really care about her. It's not just like I love her because I say it. It's because, you know, I really, really, really care about her. And mm-hmm. and the thing I liked about shrooms is it basically took all the noise in my head and it made it feel like it just cleaned out all the clutter. And I was able to really just kind of streamline my priorities and how my mental, what I should be thinking about, what I should be valuing more than all this bullshit. So the bad side of it is you're in a very vulnerable state when you take psychedelics. So
you're on them for like 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, and with acid even longer. But that's the only thing I'm worried about is because I haven't had a bad trip, and with my mindset with my mom, I feel like potentially it could be enough to take me down a dark path. But being that it's been a year, I also do feel like I'm a little more in control of my emotions towards it.
Yeah.
So I think, who knows what that door will unlock or what that key will unlock when I do it. But I think, good or bad, it's something I need to do because that's how this is what I believe. I think we all need to find ways to reconnect with our souls. And I don't know how to do that without some sort of push. And basically the shrooms are that push. And the one thing I do like about shrooms is, and this isn't just like the sale pitch for it, but basically it's not like man-made, it's natural. I mean, they grow them in cow shit, so that's appetizing. But you know, it's like it's a natural, you could say holistic remedy, and I kind of value that. I feel like there's usefulness in that. And I mean, the Native Americans did it, you know, with peyote and ayahuasca. It was a spiritual journey for them to either get some kind of answer they're looking for or a coming of age situation. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's why I think even to this day, like, Native Americans seem so wise because they were so connected with their resources, so connected with the earth, and then they had this level of mutual love and respect for it as well, which I feel like most Western civilizations, including even Mexico and everyone pretty much besides a tribal or a native type, native's not the right word, but maybe more of a tribal First Nation kind of group is a little more appreciative than someone who's like, I guess, pretty much any Western privileged civilization you could say.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you, it breaks you down. It's a very humbling experience, which I think, even if you're not considered, like, I think we all have an ego, and it doesn't mean you're narcissistic. Ego is something that is like your identity, you know? And sometimes our identity's stupid, and sometimes our identity's flawed, and sometimes our identity's cloudy. And sometimes I feel like that's my way. And don't get me wrong, it's fun to trip, like, but I want to have this. I want to hopefully open myself up, because Steph tells me all the time, she's like, oh, I dream about your mom, and I still haven't dreamt about my mom in over a year, you know. And
well, do you think
I'm hoping I can see, I don't know what it is, and I feel like it's just kind of like that whole thing of where you want to have like a lucid dream, you want to have a cool dream, or you want to have that
Yeah.
sex dream that or you know what I mean? Like you can never
Yeah.
force those instances. Like I don't know, a good funny example is you ever have those dreams where you're banging, you're having sex, and it doesn't even matter who it is, you're just having the most satisfying, amazing sex, and
Right.
then you wake up and then you're fucking pissed because you're like, first of all, I didn't finish. Second of all,
Yeah.
like, why does this always happen when it's a good dream, right?
Yeah.
But it never works. You can try everything. I've even tried before. I'm like, if I just close my eyes and try and go back to sleep, maybe I'll just go right
No, it
back.
doesn't
It
work.
won't happen. It's gone.
No.
And it's like, I want to, basically put myself in a boat where I can get back to the problem and maybe address it with my mind. I'm basically wanting to do something without a roadmap. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much rolling the dice with the situation, but I do feel like it would be good even if I freak out and something bad happens because, like I said, regardless of whether it's a good trip or a bad trip, it's humbling. And I feel like even the Native Americans wouldn't. They probably didn't use the word bad trip. They probably were like, sometimes you have
Spare it or something.
an easier journey and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But either way, you need to take what that was and learn from it, or take the
Mm-hmm.
advice, and interpret the advice accordingly. So I think good or bad, I need to do that. I don't want to do acid because I feel like it goes a little too deep. I mean, one day I want to do it, but I don't want to do it where I'm still questioning my mental state because I feel like that's just enough to turn it
Mm-hmm.
into something bad. And the difference between shrooms and acid is with acid you're so deep in it. You I think sometimes I haven't done it, but from what I heard, you're in it so deep that you're believing everything that's going on.
Right.
Whereas with shrooms, I constantly always felt like I was tethered to something. Like I knew I was seeing things that weren't real. I knew I was feeling things that weren't necessarily real or exaggerated. Maybe not real is not the right word, but exaggerated and skewed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I knew the whole time. It's kind of like when people lucid dream and they're like, I know I'm dreaming. So even though I'm falling off a cliff, I'm not freaking out. It was
Yeah.
kind of like that. Like I had moments where I'd lose that tether and I'd be like freaking out, like, oh my God. But then almost immediately I'd be like grounded again, like, okay, I'm on shrooms. See,
Yeah.
and with
You'll
acid, I
remember
don't
what's going
know if you
on.
have that. I feel like you get to a point where you might be in it and you're
Mm-hmm.
just in it. And that kind of scares me a little because then time is relative. And like, what if it's like some interstellar shit where it was only like 5 minutes, but I was in the fifth dimension for 4 years? That
Yeah.
shit freaks me out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Because
I don't
and
want to get
then
stuck somewhere for 4 years in my mind.
fucking Narnia, you're freaking you
Yeah,
live your
except I
life
wouldn't
off of
get some
corn.
fucking centaur and some fucking wardrobe. I'd get some creepy comic book guy that's possessed on my fucking bookshelf.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a good. I mean, you need to know what your limits are, and I mean, with the whole psychedelics or whatever, or like
Yeah.
natural um remedies like that. I mean, there's parts of Mexico that still uses it. I remember when I was in Mexico 3 years ago, I was over by like Chiapas, Oaxaca area,
Uh huh.
and we stopped at this very high like mountain town, and this town was like known for like their shrooms, their magical mushrooms.
Right.
For same thing, and there's so many gringos out there, and same thing like
Oh yeah, yeah.
people. It was for the same reason, like people will take these mushrooms and kind of trip out, be one from nature and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a couple of days later when I'm in I was in the actual city, and this person we're hanging out with goes like, yeah, my buddies are natives. They always tell me, like, he was telling about like things like you were saying, like things that kind of like had him like tripping out or something.
Right.
And his buddy who was native was like, hey, well, you need to go up to like the hills again, and to that town where we were just literally I was talking about. And he's like, and just clear your mind,
Mm-hmm.
eat some mushrooms and like eat some shrooms and clear your mind and get a path. So
Yeah.
it is like a remedy, like you're saying, that these natives or these First Nations, whatever you want to call them, were using to kind of like, to get answers. So
Yeah.
to get answers that you already knew, but you're suppressing,
Right.
if you will.
Like you
Because I
know
feel like,
them, but you don't consciously know them.
yeah, like you know them, or
They're
maybe
like
you choose to
they're
ignore them or
buried.
something like that. Yeah, they're very deep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I feel with what dreams are. Like for me, like
Yeah.
having that dream, subconsciously already knowing, and then just waking up and like just thinking like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to for the next step. Um, Same thing. Like every now and then, I'll dream like I remember dreaming my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I remember thinking in my dream, I was like, "No, this isn't right. Like, what the heck are you guys doing to her? Like, this is not right. She doesn't belong here." I remember in my
Yeah.
dream, kept on saying like, "No, she does not belong here. She doesn't belong here. She needs to go and rest." Like, and she was there, and I remember like picking her up. She wouldn't talk or anything. I picked her up. I'm like, "No, grandma." I'm like, "You have to go." And I remember like kicking her out from like whatever room I was, and I'm like, "No, you have to go and rest. Like, you don't belong here. You're not from here right now. Like,
Yeah.
you don't belong here." And like, I'm not sure what that meant or anything, but I was just like, in my state, maybe it was my grandma just visiting me in my dreams or something, or me thinking, go visit my grandma. But I remember my dreams being like, "No, dude, I love you, whatever, but you don't belong here right now. Go, we're good. Just go ahead."
Yeah.
And so that's something I always think about, like, when I dream of people that I haven't seen in a while, or that I might have a feeling like, oh, I might know that person. It's like maybe it's just people like they're subconsciously check their spirit or whatever, like checking up on me, because I've also read theories where like when you dream, like your spirit kind of leaves you.
Right.
Your spirit leaves you, goes traveling or whatever, and then that's why when you come back and you wake up in the middle of the night, or when you wake up, you're always thirsty, because this journey that your spirit did,
Mm.
and it wants water. And one thing, it's funny because one thing my parents do for Dia de los Muertos coming up, they always
Yeah.
put out a cup of water, because that's like the thing. Like when the spirits come and visit you, they're thirsty from their journey.
Yeah. From
They
the
want to drink some
coming
water,
through. Yeah.
to help them out. So it was always like, that's always been my theory. Like your spirit goes out and maybe you go visit somebody else, or you go into this spirit world where like you're living out whatever dream you have. And I think
Right.
that's why sometimes you remember your dreams, and sometimes you don't even remember what the heck you were dreaming about, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
um but yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying I'm right or you're wrong. I'm just saying like, hey, that's how I interpret dreams. And I feel like same thing, like when you are when you're meditating or doing something, you're trying to unlock something within you subconsciously. I think that's what dreams do also. Like they tell you what you already knew, but you choose to ignore or not to accept.
Right.
um but yeah, that's just my theory.
No,
But
I
then again, I'm a very spiritual person, so.
yeah, me too. Like that's why I'm into this cuz I don't like pushing things on other people. I don't care
Yeah.
if anyone wants to do shrooms because
Hmm.
it's very it's personal. Like if you want to do something, you should do it because you want to do it.
Not because you're forced to do
Not
it.
because a bunch of white people going on a hill in Mexico and doing it, not because you're being forced to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it needs to be something you're doing for your own reasons, not just to be cool, not to I mean, if you want to try it and you've never tried it and you're just genuinely curious, I feel like that's a good enough reason.
Hmm.
Um, but don't do it because everyone else is doing it, especially since you're putting yourself in such a gentle, fragile state. I feel like you kind of have to have at least floaties on your arms to at least,
Yeah.
you can't just dive in without any fucking experience to tread water. Like, you're
Or
going to
somebody,
drown, dude. You're going to
or
fucking sink.
yeah, or somebody who's maybe been there before and can guide you to
Right.
it, or vice
Well,
versa.
and that's
Somebody.
kind of how my first time went because, oh, that's not kind of, that's how my first time went because my cousin was there and he's done it. He did it before. So he was kind of telling me what it's going to be like, which is
Hmm.
nice because some people probably like to be surprised, right? But I feel like with psychedelics, things are changing so drastically
Yeah.
from when you're sober to when they first kick in that I could see how some people could have a panic attack.
Because it's that there's no like easing into it. It's just like an on and off switch or
Exactly.
something.
So
Yeah.
basically, I mean, once it kicks in, it is like an on switch. You'll go through moments where it might get heavier and it'll lull out a little bit. But basically, it is pretty much like, all right, now you're fucking tripping. Because I can tell you kind of firsthand how it was the first time I did it. I was in my family room in Union City with my cousin and his friend who was sober, who we made leave because he started fucking with us. But anyway, I noticed, I'm like, man, I don't feel anything. Classic. You know, it's never going to happen right away.
Yeah.
But it's almost somehow like those are the words of some god to trigger the effects.
Like the shit, I don't even feel it.
And then it's like, now you do, bitch. So I was looking at my family room. We had this floating shelf where I kept all my Blu-rays. And I was like, man, I don't feel shit. And then out of nowhere, I look at the floating shelf with the DVD or the Blu-rays on it, and it was going like this.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I started giggling, and I looked at my cousin, and I said, I think I'm fucking tripping now. That thing's going, the shelf is going like this, and we were laughing because I knew it was bullshit. Like, obviously, the shelf isn't doing that. So I know it's me, which is, once again, I was happy that it wasn't that I was so removed from reality to the point where I couldn't understand I was tripping anymore. That scares me a little.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I want to go that deep.
You still understood the situation.
Mm-hmm. I still had a rope tied to me.
Yeah.
You know, I still had a little bit of, you know, I wasn't completely on my own, like Gravity style.
Yeah. I remember this one time. That's funny. I remember this one time I went to a baseball game. And on our drive up there, you know, I went with a couple of my buddies and from when I used to work at Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're smoking up joints and something, you know. They're smoking. I'm pretty sure I got contact high by then. And then, you know, they had edibles. So they're like, hey, Dan, you want one? I'm like,
oh shit.
I'm like, I'm not driving, whatever. I'm not doing shit. So I remember I had a couple. And you know, we're in 880, fucking traffic galore going up to Oakland.
Yeah.
And then I remember being in Oakland and like just thinking like, why am I feeling so tired? Or why do I feel so heavy? Or why am I so thirsty? You know? And it took me, like, I remember thinking to myself,
you forgot like, you were high?
Yeah, it felt for 30, 40 minutes thinking this question. It probably only been like 30 seconds. And I'm like, oh, that's right.
Oh,
I
yeah,
had edibles. I'm like, oh, that's right. Because same thing, it's not like instantly. It's like it kind of kicks in, and before you know, I'm like, wait, why am I feeling? Oh, that's right. I had that fucking brownie or those cookies or whatever. Right. But yeah, it took me a while, and I just remember, like look at the menu and being like, man, I'm just fucking thirsty. But all that shit sounds hella good. I'm like, yeah, I just want to go sleep. And then I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And I'm like, oh, that's right. You know,
you're fucked up.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, why do I have cotton mouth? I'm like, oh yeah. Oh,
dude,
okay.
you get the worst cotton mouth when you do edibles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It dries you out so crazy.
Yeah. So I don't remember if I got like a big ass soda or something or like a Sprite and that crunched my thirst or like a Fanta or something.
Oh, dude, soda when you're stoned is nice. It's all bubbly.
It's nice. Yep.
But I'm a soda person. And Sprite's like my favorite, but I like fizzy drinks, so that's why I do the seltzers.
Yeah.
Because I'm cutting my sugar down and trying to prevent the stones. I don't want to get the stones.
Yeah. That's what I'm fearing. I've never had the stones before, but
I know people that have.
But like that's one thing also like where I'm more conscious about like drinking coffee or like drinking a lot of water and stuff. And but I love Dr. Pepper. That's my thing.
Oh, dude. Okay, yeah. So that's the one. Dr. Pepper when I'm stoned is probably my go-to because I grew up liking it. My mom, it was one of her favorites too. But
yeah,
dude, a nice cold one though. But you know,
with like the gas and everything.
I like it's got to be cold, fresh, and on ice in a glass.
Yeah.
It can't just
Yeah.
be in a can. It's still good in a
No.
can, but it's same with Sprite. I want it watered down just a little bit. Just a
Yeah.
little bit, but like I still want it to be like sugary and then like cold and then like refreshing, but then just a little watered down, kind of like when you drink whiskey. Just maybe you want a little water in it.
Just to enhance, you know what? It just reminded me of something. I was over at my I went to my buddy's house about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Remember when I was over in Hollister and I told you we went to this beer house called Poor Decisions or something?
Yeah.
So we were out there and we're hanging out, we're blowing up the candles and stuff for his birthday. My buddy Pat, and then his sister goes, or somebody's sister, I can't remember. Somebody asked, "Hey guys, can I ask you guys a question?" It's a weird question. We're like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Who sells the best Coke?" And we're like,
Yeah,
"Whoa,
that's a weird question.
No, we're like, "Whoa, whoa." Clarify the question. And they're like, "No, like Coca-Cola." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, I went to drugs too.
No, in my head also went through drugs. I'm like,
because who the fuck? Have you heard of a grocery store? Like,
yeah.
like that's such a random. Yeah, like you would. Your brain's gonna go to drugs.
Yeah, for me, it went straight to drugs. I'm like, well, let me see who I know around here, and I'm like, wait a minute, no.
But at the same time, like, how could they have meant Coke? Because
she meant
what
Coca-Cola.
place doesn't sell Coca-Cola though?
No, well, she asked that question, and I'm like, huh?
So she was she being silly?
No, this is a serious question.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, yeah, like if you really want, like if you're thirsty, you want to drink a Coke, where do you go and buy a Coke? And I'm like, oh, dude, I hit up that $1 menu from McDonald's, like a big ass cup for $1 because Coke
you get the
there
most.
for some reason is really good. Like even their Sprite, all their refreshments there are really really good.
Yeah,
compared to any. And we came to a conclusion because she's like, exactly. So we came to a conclusion like, yeah, the best fountain drinks, there you go, comes from McDonald's. And we came to a conclusion because they're so efficient with their product that they do the perfect combination of like the syrup and the carbonated water and stuff. Think about that next time you go to McDonald's. Like, oh shit, this is like, get like a Sprite from like McDonald's and then get a Sprite from like, I don't know, 7-Eleven.
Well,
you'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, you know why it's better? It's because, one, they're probably on point with making sure the syrup's changed out. But
yeah,
because if you don't stay on top of the syrup, you're straight up drinking like bubbles.
Yeah.
Like if you ever, maybe not McDonald's, but have you ever done a fast food stop where you get the Sprite or the Coke and it just, all you taste is bubbles?
I hate it, dude.
That's terrible.
It pisses me off.
Like, what am I going to take stains out in a rug with this? Yeah.
I'm not even like done filling it out. I'm like, shit. I already know.
Yeah.
Because it's like, lacking that bubbly or fizz.
Yeah, I didn't come to McDonald's to just drink something that no sugar in it. Look at all the bullshit I'm eating right now. Like, put the sugar in my, like, you might as well just put the sugar in there.
I did not come to McDonald's to be fucking health conscious right now.
Yeah, I am not type 2 diabetic to not have sugary soda right now.
I'm not willing to risk my whole life and my diabetes and my glucose and everything for fucking healthy ass food.
Well, yeah.
Fucking sugar.
Oh, and dude, unrelated, but McDonald's related, my favorite, and this is probably going to get me so much shit, because my favorite burger at McDonald's is a double quarter pounder, but...
Same.
Yeah. Fucking good.
No pickles for me though.
I still like the pickles, but you like the onions though?
Yeah, I dig the onions. I'm an onion guy.
But I used to love the little snack wraps because I used to get first of all I'm a flour tortilla guy through and through.
Enthusiast. Yeah.
I love burritos. I love tacos. I sometimes when Steph makes food, she'll make like very carb light stuff, like it's like a vegetable stir fry with meat. It's either got bacon, sausage, and veggies. I always get super stoned at night. I end up making a fucking tortilla. I make a little burrito out of it, you know, like I do the whole thing because that's just, I love wraps. I love tortillas. I love wraps because they're convenient, they're delicious, and So when McDonald's had it, and they were only like $1, I used to get like 4 of them. And then it was the only thing I could eat at McDonald's that wouldn't make me feel like a pile of shit. Because even
because
though we love the double quarter pounder, how do you feel normally right after you eat it?
after the first bite, I'm like, fuck,
Like the
like
salt and everything, you're just like,
it's the
your heart
salt,
slows down.
that
You
grease.
could
You're
feel
kind of
Ronald
like
McDonald's hand grabbing your soul.
the moment
You're
you bite
coming with
it and then it
me.
hits the stomach and it starts like you're like, fuck, this was a bad choice,
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna stop now.
yeah, like you're killing yourself, but at a
Yeah.
price you're okay with.
Well, you know what? Not even no more because it's McDonald's kind
Well,
of pricey
yeah,
nowadays,
well,
dude.
and then that's what I meant. Like, not in the price, not in the value menu price. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
dude, that's true, man. Even a double cheeseburger is like $1.50 now or something, or two
You know what I used to,
something.
you know what I used to get, dude? I
Uh,
used to buy the mini meals or something. It was like one
oh,
ninety
I remember
nine,
that.
where they give you like fries, and then
Like
you
a
had choice
drink
of like the
and a burger or something, right?
yeah, like a chicken or like the
It
McDouble.
was basically a Happy Meal without the toy.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's what I used to get. I used to get the McDouble. I used to get it with the McDouble, and then I used to get another McDouble on the side because
Mhm.
they were only like $1 at the time.
Yeah.
So it used to be like 2.99. I used to get like fucking 4 patties at this point, with like small fries and then like a soda. And then if I just ate it there, I just just refill the soda.
Right.
And then with my French fries, I'm a fucking fat kid through and through. So I used to like put the French fries inside the burger also and just fucking eat it all
Yes, I
together.
do. Dude,
You still
I'm
do
the
that?
guy who puts. Yeah, I put hot Cheetos in burritos. I put chips in
Yeah.
sandwiches. I love
Yeah.
chips and sandwiches, especially if you make if you take a turkey sandwich or something that's just but if you
Uh-huh.
take Doritos and you throw it in that sandwich, it's
It
fucking
just fucking
tremendous.
enhances it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't
I
think
can
it's
see
good for
that.
you. It's a shit ton
No.
of sodium, but we're not talking about healthy food. We're talking about
No,
things that
but
make us feel good.
I remember this one time my dad's like, "Oh, it's all going to the same place anyways." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So after that, I'm like, I like mixing like
You're,
weird shit, and it's just like,
you're all, and eventually we're all going to the same place too. So give me that
y-
McDonald's.
yeah. So fuck it. But no, like I still just like I go Jack in the Box. I order
Yeah.
like an extra hash brown, and I'll put like the hash brown in my freaking like breakfast sandwich and stuff,
But
and
see,
then have the other
that
hash
is
brown on the
so
side.
good. I
Yeah,
love, yeah, dude, I love potatoes.
yeah. But you know what? We can bullshit and say we're culinary like that because the softness of like the burrito, and the crunchiness kind of contradicts it and
Oh,
gives it like a
yes.
crunch. We
Yeah.
can be fancy about it, but we're just fat kids and
We
we're
just like
like,
to eat. We
yeah,
like the way it tastes.
like I think this is why I love like carne asada fries or nacho fries or whatever you want to call them. The first time somebody told me about the concept of those, I was like, dude, who fucking pothead came up with this
Oh,
idea?
for sure.
And then I actually had it, and I'm like, oh my god, who's the fucking pothead who came up with this
Yeah.
idea? Because this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember ordering it in the. I remember once because I used to get them from. I was still getting from Iguanas, and it comes with the nacho cheese. And she's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you should try it with the white cheese with the Monterey Jack."
Ooh,
And I'm like,
yeah.
game changer.
Dude.
And then like a week later, she's like, "Oh, you should try them with both cheeses." And I'm like,
Oh.
"You can do
You know
that."
that girl's she was a stoner probably.
Well, I don't know. I plead the fifth on that one because I do remember that she was one of the owner's daughters or sister,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she didn't smoke pot.
and she was also my age, and I might have had a crush on her. Might have hit her a few times, or hit, not hit her, not hit her, hit on her. There you go. A couple of times at the Cinnabar.
I liked it
Um,
better the first time.
no, but no, nothing like that.
I
But
know.
definitely,
I
hit
can't
on
picture
her
you
or
beating
something.
up well, I shouldn't say that sounded terrible. I can't picture you beating up anybody. I don't mean
True,
that.
true
That's terrible. I
story.
don't mean that, Danny. What I meant was
True
I
story
can't
though.
picture you laying a hand on someone for that reason. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
I can't. Oh man,
That
but
was
yeah,
funny
I
though.
just
I do that too. But no,
yeah.
I know what you mean.
You know what's funny? This is again, we're way off topic, but this
Well,
is
that doesn't
very
matter.
on
We already
topic.
covered the topic.
I remember so in my 20s, from the age 21 all the way to like 30 or something, I used to hang at this bar, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago
Uh-huh.
at the Cinnabar.
Yep.
Um, a lot of drunken nights. Daryl refers to me as downtown Danny because of that. Because anytime he wanted to look for me, or whenever he wondered what I was up to, I was in downtown at the Cinnabar, fucking Monday through Saturday or Monday through Friday, whatever, just drinking up every day. I remember there was like, your core people used to go there, and this is all like the rocker, punk rocks,
Right.
whatever, hipsters, and then the girls also used to go. And I remember there was this girl there who I always try to hit on. Never knew her name, never knew anything about her. I just always try to hit on her. Or I'm like, oh, today's gonna be the day I'm gonna talk to her. Or today's gonna be the
Yeah.
night I'm gonna talk to her. Never did.
Oh.
But like I remember hitting on her once at the Cinnabar, and then seeing her like the next day at San Jose State. Like just it was
Wait,
just
so
kind of
was it awkward?
yeah, oh, yeah. Well, maybe I made it awkward. I was like, oh hey, what's up?
You go,
Like,
oh
oh hey,
hey, I'm still creeping.
hey. Yeah, I'm like, hey, what's up? Oh,
You
all
still
right,
got your
hey.
girl, hey, you still got your clothes on.
Yeah, no, I probably said something dumb like, I'll see you at the Cinnabar later on tonight.
She's
Something
I'm
like
going to dive bar, but
yeah.
I'm not telling you.
But yeah, it became
Yeah.
like I would purposely. I'm pretty sure she purposely like avoided like going the same hallway so we don't have to see each other.
And that was the
And
last, yeah.
like no, I still will see her at the
Oh,
cinema bar,
okay.
whatever. Fast forward like 5 years later, first day of school. I'm over here at a first day of school at the new school year. So it's like all staff meetings. Everybody's oh hey, what's up, man? How you been? Like the whole summer.
Yeah.
And she's there. She's like a new hired
At your school?
teacher at
Yeah.
my school, at my old school where I used to work at. And I'm like, hey. She's like, hey.
She
It's just like,
remembered?
yeah, it's just faces. Names, it was always like, oh, like I always used to forget her
You go,
name.
hey, remember that time I tried to get in your.
In your
It's
pants
not gonna.
several times.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's not, still not gonna happen. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm like, okay, oh, you're married now with 2 kids? Okay, well shit. All right. But
Well, the well's
yeah,
been
she was
poisoned. No.
yeah. No, but she was cool. I remember like formally introducing ourselves after knowing each other for like 10 years. Like formally introducing ourselves. And I'm like, oh, it looks like your classroom is like in the first floor and I was like on the second floor, like
Yeah.
same place. So I'm like, hey, whatever you need, just let me know. So it was cool because I think, after we became really good friends or, coworkers or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it was just like that awkward, like first like 30 seconds where like, oh shit, this girl, oh shit, this guy. So
Yeah.
it was
No,
cool.
that's cool that. But see, you're a nice enough dude where I feel like people will understand that, you know, you're not a creep. You tried something, it didn't work. I mean, that when you're single, that's the fun and the scariness of it is
Yeah, I think so.
trying things, and when they work, it's got the gratification is just probably insane.
Yeah.
But because you're so used to failing, I mean, every man, I mean, every single dude, like a dude that doesn't struggle, especially with the ladies. One, I don't believe him because
Bullshit.
yeah, you're full of
Yeah.
shit, dude. You're one of those peacockers. And the other thing too is this. I feel like girls put up a front because of how creepy dudes are in general. So
Yeah,
there's
and
a good
that's
chance we're all gonna
understandable
get
too.
turned down. But just don't take no for an answer. No, I'm kidding. What I'm saying is, just understand that because I think some dudes get really defensive,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they get embarrassed, they get really bitched out. And I feel like it's like instead of punishing someone for wanting to not open up to you, maybe understand why they probably don't want to, which is because you're a fucking stranger. They don't know who you are. They probably don't want to get date raped and drugged. I mean, dude, especially nowadays, like it's got to be insane to just go out and date. But I understand why women are on edge and why they put up a front. I think if I was a woman, even an ugly one, I would do it.
Yeah, and for the same reason, like you just said, people. I'm still seeing if I have her number. I don't think I.
Let's call her. No, I'm kidding.
No, but I'm like, because I can't remember her name right now. But
Yeah.
I wonder if I still have her.
She's the great white buffalo, dude. She's the one that got away.
Oh, yep. I still have her number. Okay, I just saw her name.
Yeah, don't say it.
Okay, no names.
Well, I don't care, but it's your
I totally
story.
understand that. If like you cannot meet somebody at the bar because like everybody knows what you're trying to do when you're
Yeah.
at the bar. So it's
But and that goes
you
both
might come
ways, right?
yeah, and you might come from a sincere perspective and you try to be sincere and stuff, but like the other person doesn't fucking know.
Yeah,
So
true. No one can read
it's
minds.
really hard. And you know what? People just don't want to be bothered sometimes. And I think that's why, like, especially for girls, like, it must suck, like, being constantly harassed and constantly, like,
Yeah.
being, like, looked at and all that stuff. And I can only imagine. And, like, it
I was
sucks.
gonna
It
say
sucks for
neither
them.
of
And
us
it's
know
like,
what that feels like.
yeah, that's for sure. That is for damn sure.
Do we
Um,
want that?
no, I just do not wish it upon anybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks, and I get it, and it's just dating must sucks. Outside of like a safe zone or something, it must
Right.
suck. But yeah, I remember this one time I fell in love with a girl at the Cinnabar again at the Cinnabar. She was my dream girl. I do not remember how this girl looks like. I don't remember her name. Remember nothing. I just remember I was in love with this girl for that night, and we were talking, we hit it off. I remember she goes, she came in with one of my buddies, and I'm like, oh, dude, who's your friend? Oh, blah, blah. Yeah, come talk to her, man. Yeah, like, introduce herself, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm too shy. A couple of drinks later, I'm over there. I start talking to her, and she's like, hey, let's take a shot. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, shit, let me go take some money off the ATM so I can, like, so I can cover it. She's like, that wasn't the question. The question is, do you want a shot? Like, in plan that she was gonna buy. I'm like, oh shit, hell yeah. So ever blah blah, we're flirting. I remember, like, I was outside, like, she was like, it was like typical drunk punk rock love,
Yeah.
It was under. I remember, like, I had my arm around her outside, and she was like hugging me. And I remember on one hand I had like a fucking drunk. I had like my cigarette over here, and I'm like, but like at the time I was smoking cigarettes, of course, and I'm like, smoking cigarettes, and she goes, oh, you shouldn't be smoking there. You shouldn't smoke. It's bad for you. I remember she took the cigarette off my hand, and then she took a drag, and she started smoking my cigarette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm in. I'm in. This girl of my love. This is a girl of my dreams, a future daughter, the future wife to my daughter, my future wife, and my future
Mr. X, Danny Betancourt. Mrs. Mr.
I
don't know why I did that.
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't even remember. Again, I do not remember her name, how she looked like, or anything. I just remember she was short. I don't remember she was shorter than me. But then again, I'm a pretty tall person, so everybody's kind of short compared to me.
Girls can get away with the short thing though.
Not the other way around. But I remember, dude, I'm so stupid, but this is fucking hilarious. But she's like, "Oh, I hope you're not driving home."
Ooh.
And I'm like,
dang.
And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I live down the street. I was staying at my buddy's house on 4th Street.
Yeah.
At that apartment. I'm sure if you ever went to the 4th Street apartment. But it was like right there. We were down. So I'm like, oh no, I'm staying down the street. I'll be okay. I'm not dumb enough to drink and drive. Bullshit. I was dumb to drink and drive, but not that night.
Right.
And I'm like, I hope you're not driving home.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I'm walking home. I don't live that far. And I'm like, oh yeah, where do you live? And she's like, I live in Japantown.
Oh, like, yeah, that is close.
Yeah, and I remember thinking to myself, oh my god, this is the best. I'm about to drop the best line ever. I'm like, again, you're drunk.
Oh god.
You really don't think it through. But I'm like, oh, so you have to take me. You have to take me back to your place if you live in Japantown. She goes, oh yeah, why is that? I'm like, well, because my penis is a pretty big deal in Japan. That was my.
Oh, I think you've alluded to the story before, but you never told me all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's that girl.
Yeah, she's that girl. I remember saying, and I'm not saying dick or anything. Just
from what I remember, you said it didn't really go over well, right?
Yeah,
that should have went over well, so well.
No, here's the thing though. She started laughing. And she's
like, oh
funny.
My God.
Yeah, she started laughing. She's like, you're such a dork.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm like the perfect Me and she's like, well, I have
Yeah.
more beer in my house. Like, once you like, I have beer in my house. Come over. I'm like, all right, yeah. And then I'm like, let me get my friends. And so I went looking for my friends, and then her friends started like pulling her away. And I just remember like
Uh,
my friends wouldn't let me go with her because I was quote unquote too drunk,
and her
which is
friends wouldn't
true
let her go with you.
because she was too
She
drunk or
was too
something.
drunk.
We were both drunk,
Dude,
and our
that's like
friends
some
were just.
Romeo and Juliet shit right there.
It was, dude, and it's funny because I remember throwing up in downtown several times just on the way. Like I remember going to the Jack in the Box next door to La Vix,
Lavix, yeah.
and I remember ordering something, and I remember, my apartment was right around the corner. I remember throwing up once again on the way to the apartment. I remember getting to the apartment. I'm brushing my teeth. I take one bite of my burger, and I fell asleep. I
Yeah.
fell asleep. And I didn't know, woke up in the morning and I'm like super thirsty. I'm like, oh shit, my Dr. Pepper is still there. So I remember like chugging my Dr. Pepper and shit. But I remember like, dude, if I would have gone home or if I would have gone back to that girl's house, I would have been throwing up all over the place. It would have been a fucking hot
Oh,
mess.
you guys would
So
have probably thrown up on top of each other. No one would have had sex. You
no,
guys
it would have
both
been
would have fell
horrible.
asleep before you did anything.
No, it would have been horrible.
Yeah, it would have
But
been bad.
I never saved her number. I never remember her name.
I mean, it's
I
pretty
don't even
punk
remember what
rock
she
not to
looks
save
like.
her number.
Huh? Yeah, but I remember being in love with this girl for that night, for
But
that
but
evening.
maybe part of you knew that that was all it was ever going to be, and you wanted to hold on to that.
Or part of me knew that this girl, so, now thinking about it, and again, this is my anxiety and my stress or whatever, my depression. Just thinking, like, no, this girl was way out of my league. She was just being nice. No way anything was going to happen.
But every
Um,
woman should be out of your league.
no, let's be realistic here. We
No,
can
but I
be
mean,
real.
you don't want. Okay, but look at it this way. What guy wants a girl that's attainable slash? What's the word? They're in their league. I
Yeah.
don't feel like any man that's in a relationship they're happy with
Mm-hmm.
is with a girl that's in their league. I mean,
There always needs to be like that
they could be in
subconscious,
that
like,
realm, but I feel like you always kind of have to have that admiration towards some, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're like, no way this girl still
I
loves
mean,
me.
I'm not saying you like always kiss their ass and you do everything they tell you to do, but I'm saying there has to be a level of like admiration, whether it's attraction or attraction to
Yeah.
them physically or attracted to them mental or on a
Emotionally and
personal level.
mentally. Yeah.
I don't know. That's the way. But everyone's different. I mean, that's true. But I always want to feel like they're better than me. I just don't want them to make me feel like they're better than me. That's kind of weird, but I'm okay with knowing they're better than me. I just don't want them to be the type of person that's like, I'm better than you. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
You just don't want it to be thrown at your face.
Yeah, like I'm okay knowing that you're better than me because I really do
Mm-hmm.
think you're a better person and you're more
Yeah.
responsible. Yeah, but exactly. Don't ever use it as a weapon. Don't ever be like,
No.
I'm better than
Yeah.
you, because then immediately then you're kind of not. But like,
Into
yeah,
it no more. Yeah.
I
No, like,
just, and maybe I'm just getting on my thing about how I feel about stuff, but like, there's days where of course we get annoyed at each other, but I always look at her like with two things. Like one is confusion on why she's with me, and then two is like, because on just a look standpoint, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand what she's attracted to because I see how she looks and I see how I look, and I'm just like, she could probably do way better, but she's clearly
yeah.
attracted to me in another way. So, but I just, I like knowing that I feel like she makes me better,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it would suck if I was with a girl that I was just like, yeah, she's dumb broad, and I just, I keep her around for whatever. She does my taxes every year.
That gets boring, dude.
Yeah, like that's not love, dude. There's got to be some kind of level of fear with love, and it's not that you're scared that you're gonna get hit or something. You're scared you could lose it all, and I feel like that's what the value of it is. It's like,
And I think once that happens, you put more effort into it. You put more
yeah,
effort into it. You
oh,
make
definitely,
calls, you make time. Where if you're like, ah, fuck this, I can just like tell this girl whatever, or like ignore this girl for like 2 or 3 days, and then I can just, you know,
Well, and that's why I like having that mindset in a way too, because it's not that I like shitting on myself, but it's that I like reminding myself, hey man, because even if you're not the most handsome guy in the world, sometimes as men we get caught up with our own thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's nice to have someone that's not on that mental field kind of bring you back to reality every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like the whole humbling thing. I like being humbled, man. I want to be confident with my life, but I don't want to just be a cocky fuck. I like being I like being I like appreciating what I have. I like learning to
Right.
appreciate things more. Like every day, you know, kind of like, remember how you were saying, like with our subject, you were like, well, I'm happy I did this and that. Maybe I didn't do everything perfect, but I'm happy I did this and that. And I just
Mm-hmm.
need, that's what I need to work on. I like doing that. I like, instead of being like, oh, why, I don't know why she's with me, I can just be like, well, we both connect and we both love each other. And what can I do to keep that going? You know, instead of being like, oh, I don't get it. Why is she? I mean, because that in a way, you're either doing one or two things.
Yeah.
You're just depressed, or you're fishing for a compliment. You're wanting someone to tell you, no, you are better. And both are fucking equally disgusting. But you know, that's why I'm trying to just be
Yeah.
like, you know,
And
what I mean.
I figured that whoever's with you also starts getting like annoyed. Like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
with you. Like, what the hell's your problem?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't? And then, like, are you accusing me that, I just see it, and it might be my anxiety coming up. But like, I'm just really thinking like, well, maybe she'll think like I'm accusing her of cheating or something like that. It's just so many
Yeah.
things can go wrong, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's just, and that's kind of the whole, the ebb and flow of a relationship, you know, because
Hmm.
if it didn't, it wouldn't be very interesting,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm happy. I'm happy with where I am for sure right now. I'm super blessed, and you know, there's times where like exactly I'm caught up in my own guilt or sadness, and I just kind of got to remind myself, look, man, like I need to be happy that I'm this blessed right now, and
Yeah.
work on keeping it, you know, instead of trying to get something I don't have. Work on keeping what I have and maybe build on it instead of always trying to get this or get that. Like, nah, dude, just try and live your life the best way possible, I guess.
And I think that goes back to us just liking to stay humble, stay humble.
Hmm.
It's like this ongoing issue within. It's like we want to be humble, so we don't really like praise ourselves for like what
Yeah.
we have and stuff. We're kind of just like, no, I guess it's cool. Like we kind of like downplay it, if you
Right.
will, because again, we're on this trip where we're like, oh no, we like to be humble, but at the same time, I'm like, we have to give ourselves a little bit of credit every now and then.
Yeah. You know what's a good idea? Maybe every episode this is our homework, and it's about ourselves. We'll do one thing about ourselves and one thing about each other. But I'm
Yeah.
saying like maybe not all the time, but I think it'd be a cool exercise to do for next episode is on that day, what did you do that day you were proud of yourself for doing? And then maybe just do that.
So do like a little like
Like
gratification
what did you
check-in,
yeah,
like a gratification check-in.
maybe not like me and you talking about each other. I think what we need to do is clearly
Yeah.
we've already addressed the fact that we self-deprecate a lot. So part of it is my humor.
Yeah.
I kind of like that style, but part of it is a flaw in my character. And you know, we got we got the humility down and being humble, but we need to work on our confidence. And
Yeah.
I mean, I say we is more for speaking for myself, but you know, you can be humble and be confident. I think we're not used to being confident because we weren't super confident when we were younger,
No.
and we're much more comfortable now. But I think we just need to work on being proud, you know, and vocalize it so it's not such a weird taboo thing.
Yeah.
So we
No,
can
and
just celebrate our wins and you know what I mean?
that was like when I was doing like my therapy classes and stuff like that. That was one thing we used to do. We used to do like a gratification like check in. Like, hey, what's one
Mhm.
thing? And it can be as simple as like, oh, I combed my hair today.
Right.
Or like,
Well, cuz next time, yeah, it'll be better. Or
yeah.
yeah.
And I forgot who I was telling this to somebody. Oop, I think I was telling I forgot where I went, but like I finally put on shoes for the first time in like X amount of years.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, I put on shoes today. Like I haven't put on shoes like in 2 or 3 weeks because I'm always just either walking around my house barefoot or with sandals because it's so
Right.
convenient. But again, just doing like those little check-in kind of thingies, like you were saying, like the little gratification, like, hey, today you know, I can't remember when was the last time I said a bad word today, or
Yeah.
I went to work and I came back and I put my kid to sleep. Like it doesn't sound like a big deal,
Right.
but it's a huge deal. Like those little small
Mhm.
gratifications.
And I think that exercise will help us appreciate everything that we're dealing with instead of just focusing on certain things that we tend to do as human beings. We kind of we tunnel vision, like I was talking about earlier. We tunnel vision our problems. We're not looking at things on a grand scheme. We're not saying, okay, I'm 14 things went right and 3 things went wrong.
Yeah.
Why am I upset? I need to understand that errors are going to happen. No one's perfect, but as long as there's some positive and I'm growing from things, then that's something to be happy about. And that's something to move forward with.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be huge things. They can be like little small things. Like,
Mhm.
oh, today I got behind a person who was going super slow and in the street, and rather than latching out, I went around them or
Yeah.
something.
You're like, I got out of my car and I pushed their car.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Move faster.
Move.
You're like
Sir, move.
pushing them.
Man, move.
Go.
Uh yeah, and I think that would be an excellent homework or exercise
Yeah,
for us to
yeah.
do next time we check in.
Homework. Oh, you liked doing that one, didn't you?
It's
That was your
because
little teacher joke you got
it's the
in.
it's the dang teacher jokes.
I'm
I'll
gonna
save
get
that
you
story.
like I'm gonna get you like 100-pound wheelbarrow full of apples for Christmas or something.
I
Do you
hate
even like
apples, but
apples? Oh,
I
dude,
do, but
Steph
I
doesn't
don't.
like apples either. That's funny.
But I'm not like crazy
I know. I
about
just
it.
wanted to give you some bullshit teacher
Yeah, I'm more
gift.
of a banana person myself, to be honest.
You do not like the manzanitas?
No, I like the manzanita drinks,
I
but
like the
not the
soda,
yeah,
the Mexican
not the
soda. Oof, the apple soda is the bomb, dude.
but no, dude, the oh yeah, oh hell yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
super sweet though, but
Oh yeah, you got to cut it. See, once again, ice in a glass.
yeah.
Yep.
Or you crack one open, you drink it all day. You sip it every now
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah, yeah. You can't. I'm with you, dude. Like the old me could do. Like I could just drink those out of the. But now it's like, dude, it's way too sweet.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like those
No.
Vietnamese coffees.
Oh,
I
one
think you're.
and
I
you're
think you're
good.
meant to cut them. Someone was
Really?
telling me. I think it was Ryan, because we went to like Lee's or something once, and he was telling me he's like, you're supposed to take half of this and cut it with like milk or ice.
But I feel like that's a lie because dairy.
I think it is. I think you're right too, because I think it is designed to be drank that way because it's supposed to be a really strong sugary coffee.
Yeah.
But then I feel like maybe that's another way to do it so you don't feel so shitty,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
you're just
But I
you're
mean,
like railing sugar and caffeine in like such
yeah,
a
and
high
I
level.
mean, not only that, but it's like the milk they use is that thick
Oh,
what's it
the
called?
condensed milk, that's the good
Condensed milk.
shit.
That's
And
what they
that's hella
use.
sugar.
Yeah, and so sugar go straight to your blood screen, go straight
Yeah.
to your your blood system. So basically, when you're sipping this, you're freaking injecting caffeine straight shots of espresso into your freaking blood veins.
Yeah.
So of course you feel the effect much faster. But on the flip side, on that crash must be so hard.
Oh, because
That
of the
crash
sugar
is
and the
so harsh.
caffeine. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like a sugar high and the caffeine rush that kind of just dies down.
Yeah, dude. That's and I think that's it's balance and it's I do love my Vietnamese coffees, but
Me too.
um
But I think go with the small one. Don't go with the big one. Just go
yeah
with the little small one.
yeah, because you know what it is for me is it's so sweet and tasty. I could literally just sip it in 30 seconds
Yeah.
because I'm such a fatty.
And you're supposed to enjoy it.
I enjoy it so fast,
Yeah. I've
like
been there,
everything in
done
my
that.
life.
Trust me, I've
Pretty
been
much-
there. I've done
I
that.
pretty much conceived both my children in under 5 minutes.
And that's no lie. No lie on that one. No punchline to that one. It's just fact.
It was almost immaculate conception because Steph didn't know anything happened.
It's like fucking Rosemary's Baby.
Oh God, dude, that is a scary fucking movie.
It's good. I was seeing it. I think it's on Amazon. I was seeing it on Amazon Prime not so long ago.
Dude,
and
yeah.
I fell asleep halfway through it.
Oh, it's a little slow because it's old, but when you
Yeah.
get into it, it gets in. And then the other creepy thing when you watch it, know that Roman Polanski, the director of that movie, is a legitimate fucking pedophile.
Yeah.
So that makes the movie even creepier.
Yeah.
And then have you ever seen that movie Johnny Depp he directed? I think The Ninth Gate.
I've never seen it, but I've definitely
So,
heard about it.
It's
So I know
another
it's like a
Polanski
psychological-
movie.
Okay.
You might dig it. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It's super creepy and it's super satanic. Oh, it's so cool. So that's probably, I don't know if it's going to make the list of your guys' list, but
Yeah.
I definitely say it's an honorable mention to check out. The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. He's
Yeah.
like an author. Roman Polanski's such a fucking weirdo. And like on a personal level, it's so gross who he is, but good filmmaker, man. Not defending who he is, but damn, Rosemary's Baby is a good movie.
It's good. Yeah. It's a good
Really
one.
fucking terrifying.
Well, so the last thing about Roman Polanski is that's why he lives in France. He left the United States to avoid being
He
charged.
extradited.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
creep.
he's over there and never coming
Yeah.
back over here. That's why his
Apparently France doesn't care about that stuff.
I'm pretty sure there's
No, they
laws
do.
and
I think.
shit.
I think it's just the fact that he's probably a French citizen and he can get away with leaving.
That, and I'm pretty sure he's rich enough where nobody's gonna.
Yeah. Well, there you go. No matter how honest and good your country is, you can mostly anyone can be bought. So yeah, I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna wrap it up. I know you got to get up. You got to get up with the Zoomers. You got to get up with the little childrens. And I don't want
what Generation Z or
Generation-
Sen or whatever.
Generation Zoom.
Yeah.
You fucking. That's what you should do when they piss you off. Be like, shut up, Generation Zoom.
When they call,
You guys are all gonna have tumors on your head. No, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But
And they're like, you boomer.
God
I'm
knows
like, well, shut up, Zoomer.
Yeah,
That's what I was-
exactly. Okay, our heads.
I'm gonna use that next time they call me a boomer.
As soon as
or
you said
something.
boomer, I'm glad I didn't say Zoomer because you were gonna say it. But we're on the same level.
Yeah, gonna
We're on the
definitely
same
use it
page.
on my kids because I pretend like I don't know certain things just
Yeah.
to get them
Just-
animated
yeah,
and
yeah.
interact. So today we're doing this thing about cyberbullying.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, about digital zombies. And why you
Right.
shouldn't be on technology so much. And I'm like, can somebody explain to me what the hell is TikTok? Like all I ever seen is you guys do like your dumb dance and some
Yeah.
dude on a skateboard drinking the cranberry
Yeah,
juice.
I just don't care. Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of know what it is, but we talk. Oh man, TikTok is this. Blah, blah,
Like it's
blah.
Vine
Like,
2.0, dude.
yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Shut up.
I just miss the old good old days of like AIM, Facebook.
Remember porn in a
Twitter.
magazine?
Yeah, reading a book. And actually today somebody's like, "Oh, it's just because you're a boomer, Mr. B." And I'm like,
Motherfucker, first of all, no, I'm
I'm
not.
no,
You
yeah,
Google that.
no,
I'm a little younger
no.
than that, motherfucker.
But at the same time, like, yeah, when it comes to technology, I'm a boomer. So tomorrow, I'm gonna hint it so they can call me a boomer, and I can be like, "Oh yeah, whatever, Zoomer." I'm like, whatever, you Zoomer. I'm like, I'd rather be called a boomer than the Zoomer because that's what your generation's gonna be called now,
Dude. Yeah, that's these Zoom kids. I mean, the high school ones is one thing, but these young children that are getting sculpted by Zoom. Oh, good luck, everybody.
You know what's funny? And this will be the last thing before we go. I'm literally doing a lesson today, or I was doing a lesson today about, only 20 minutes technology, not
Right.
spending, basically all this stuff about not to be on your computer screen and your phone.
Even though while you're on Zoom.
While I'm on Zoom with like, okay, make sure you're taking notes
kids.
and make sure you have your this one open and that one open while they're doing like multiple things. And I'm like, how much of a freaking contradiction do I sound like right now?
You're like, way to go, boomer. Yeah, like, dude, that's the thing that's stupid is like, they're like, so 20 minutes a day. And how long's the lesson plan? Oh, 45 minutes. Oh, so I'm already
50,
breaking the rule trying to, way to go.
Yeah,
it's like, who designed this fucking lesson plan?
Limit yourself to like, I think one suggestion is like limit yourself to computers and TV for only 5 hours a day or 5 hours a week. And I'm like, that's their whole day. Like in one day, they do the whole thing. So
no, I'm with it, dude. But we try to do the same thing with the kids. The more TV my son Vincent watches, the more bitched out he gets. He's even though he loves TV, he's much happier when he plays outside. When we do music, when we do something artistic, like I love that about him because I don't want him to be a couch potato. Because if I had it my way, I mean, as much as I love getting out of the house and I get cabin fever, I could easily be a couch potato. I could, because that's who I was when I was younger. I played video games. I binge watched movies, and that was before Netflix. But so we're the OG bingers. So I mean, then when Netflix came out, it was like meth. It was
the game changer.
I don't need to leave ever again.
Yeah, and remember how they used to deliver movies at first, and then they started going to something different. But
I mean, they still do that, but for the most part, their streaming is taken over.
Everybody's just used to streaming now.
I mean, most people don't even use discs really much at all anymore either.
That's what, exactly. Like, I don't have a DVD player or a fucking Blu-ray player or anything like that. So,
well, I mean, I got my Xbox One, but that's it. But besides that, I'm pretty much just dependent on my streaming sticks.
Yep. Your what's it called? Chromecast and Roku's and all this
Fire sticks and Kindle sticks or whatever they're how this shit goes. But
Apple TVs.
I know we usually try and I don't know where I was going with that, but I think our homework will be a smart idea. And I'll try and remind you too, and I'm sure you'll probably remember, but I think that's a good start for us trying to just build up on that and work towards that, which is definitely something we can agree we need to work a little on. So, it'll be good to keep us in check on that. And I think this is the end of the episode for another week of Tales from the Head, episode 12. So, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks, Danny, for being patient for the first 25 minutes.
Of course.
I know your time is precious, and that's why I want to make sure you're well rested.
It's not that precious, but, appreciate it.
You get a little bit of get some me time. I know it's the World Series, but you probably need a little more me time to unwind before you start your day. So, thanks for
just a wee bit.
Thanks for always being you, and never thought I'd say this, man, but God, go Dodgers! Ugh, I almost threw up.
You can't
I
say
support
it.
my friends. I'm not
You
a
know-
Giants fan. I just don't like any LA teams, but only because of you and Juan and Ryan. I'll be a fair team player.
You know, like our good friend Alex says, I just want my friends to be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. And the way you guys love the Dodgers is the way I love the Niners. And when the Niners made the Super Bowl, I was super ecstatic.
Yeah.
So I want people to be happy for. I want people to be happy for. I want to be happy for you guys. And honestly, man, it's been long overdue. So I'm really, and I don't remember the last. I don't know if the Rays. I don't know who's won it. Probably I'm sure the Dodgers probably won it more recent than the Rays.
I think
but
the
I don't
Rays
know.
actually won it more recently.
Okay, yeah,
because it's been over 30 years.
It has.
It's been 32 years for the Dodgers.
Because I think it was the year before 89. 88 is the year they won it.
Yeah, 88.
And 89, they lost to the A's.
The A's. That was the battle of the Bay Area.
That's right.
And then 88 Dodgers played the A's also, that's when like the A's were like.
Well, dude, we had the best fucking we had Mark McGuire, we had Jose Canseco, Jesus Christ.
Ricky Henderson
was still playing.
Your freaking pitchers with the funny mustache. I can't remember his name right now.
I think because Raleigh Fingers was earlier than that, but I think it was Dennis Eckersley at that time.
Yeah, Dennis Eckerson. That's the guy. But yeah, I always have a little soft spot for the A's. I'm okay with the A's.
Yeah, I'm an A's guy, and I was super annoyed that Houston beat them because fuck Houston. I think we can all collectively agree, fuck the Houston Astros, and I think even the city of Houston can probably almost agree with that. I don't think anyone's happy with them.
I can't even believe I was rooting for them last year.
I mean, a lot of people were before they knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
because you just thought they were the new Yankees.
And I remember like even when they beat the Dodgers, I was like, the Astros aren't disturbing.
Right.
But now I'm like, fuck that, dude.
No, 100%. Let's go piss on the Alamo. Wait, but that's not in Houston.
No, that's in San Antonio.
Close enough. Houston. No, it's probably not. Texas is ginormous.
It's like 4 hours away.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's not piss off the Texans. They're good people. They love their barbacoa, right? So
They do love their barbacoa and their barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll think of something to piss on Texas.
We'll think about something to piss on. Yeah. We'll put a pin in that. We'll put a pin on the put a positivity. I think we got ourselves a nice little John Tesh radio show coming up in the next couple weeks.
I think
it's going to be good. I'm excited.
I think so too.
So let's end it on a good note and a spooky note. We're that much closer to the All Hallows Eve, and I believe our next episode is pretty much going to be our Halloween episode. So I think we got a couple themes. We talked about something. We'll talk more about that, but I'm going to brainstorm some ideas and let's do what you talked about, but let's make it a fun, spooky. I'm going to have to get some things ready because I want to make it a really cool one. So maybe I'll get some sound bites ready and we can really have fun with it.
I'm excited for that. I'm a big fan of Halloween.
Me too, man. One of my favorite holidays.
It's the spooky season.
And it's perfect for our theme of our podcast. So
100%.
Stay safe. Watch out for razor blades and, compliment yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the takeaway from this week. Find something about yourself that you liked or love and build off of it. So, on that note, I bid you adieu, and everyone out there in podcast land, have a good night. And if you don't want to have a good night, go fuck yourself. But more importantly, have a good night. All right, guys. Later.